My name is Tommaso Previato. I was trained in sinology at the universities of Venice and Rome. And during my PhD studies, I gradually switched to ethnology. I was based most of the time in China, in mainland China, where I did extensive fieldwork in especially the northwest part of the country, in today's provinces of Gansu and Qinghai, in a region that Chinese ethnologists call the ethnic corridor. So my research project here at QASI deals with the textual constructions of sainthood in a couple of Sufi confraternities in China, Gansu and Qinghai. I'm doing research on are the Qadiriyya, which is the first tariqa or Sufi group to take root in China proper, and the Jahriyya, which is a sectarian offshoot of the Naqshbandi Yemeni tradition, which was established in China in the mid-18th century. So I analyze these two Sufi traditions in light of the post-Maoist Islamic revival of the 1980s and early 1990s, when China opened up to the outside world and Chinese Muslims took advantage of the loosening restrictions on religious activities to reclaim the legitimacy of their social, political, and social-religious institutions. And they did so through the medium of self-published devotional literature. So this literature includes mystical poems, includes miracle tales, in Arabic called karamat tales, and of course hagiographies with appended proofs of genealogical, spiritual genealogy. I'm actually making some comparison between different groups and relying on this body of materials. These materials were actually translated from Perso-Arabic into vernacular Chinese and remained for most of the time secret, let's say, were kept secret or remained confidential if you wish, and up to the post-Maoist religious revival. Yeah, I think it's what I'm trying to do during my research visit here at QASI. This self-printing effort ended in 2015, 2016, let's say. So the time period I focus on start from the, let's say, mid-1980s up to 2015 or 16. And why these materials are important? They are important because they allow in-depth insight into the mystical views of these groups, into the system of practices and beliefs of Chinese Muslims, of different tradition, different Islamic traditions. I do this kind of research, all in the attempt to build up a kind of typology of sainthood, which can be used by QASI to explore how Islamic orthodoxy was rebranded in the post-Maoist revival in China, and how Sufi shaykhs and tradition were labeled as un-Islamic, as superstitious and even heterodox by non-Sufis. As I mentioned, the focus of my research is primarily on afterlife beliefs, and in these hagiographies and poems, mystical poems, you see this narrative of martyrdom, for example, which must not be taken literally because it's a kind of introspection, okay? So the Sufi practitioner look at martyrs and the role of martyrs in Islam and in history more broadly as a metaphor to engage in the internal struggle that there is between conflictual tendencies. Some of them, like the Jahriyya, for example, were involved in the anti-dynastic uprising against the Qing state. So they were actually engaged in military warfare against the Qing. And there are many stories circulating in these materials about their engagement in these uprisings, but As I said, they must not be taken literally. So this is a metaphor also to indicate the kind of esoteric practices that they are doing to restrain this carnal aspect of themselves, to detach from worldly desire and worldly passions. So that's the esoteric aspect. Maybe connect my own research with the broader agenda here at QASI. Yeah, I think it was back in 2017 when I was in Qinghai. I was introduced to a Chinese colleague who does research on Chinese Islam and is a specialist of Chinese religions. He gave me a book. When I wrote the proposal for this new project, which has been accepted here at QASI and brought me here, I saw many connections. So I'm focusing specifically on this manuscript, which was preserved in a shrine in Qinghai. So the most important thing in this text is trying to combine different religious traditions that deserve particular attention and also contribute to, let's say, revise the idea that we have about Islam as a monolithic kind of religion, and especially looking at this hybridization, the powerful engagement that these Sufi communities in China had with other religions. Could be like folk Chinese religions, but also other esoteric traditions. And to my understanding, there was like a lot of exchange on multiple sites. So this is for sure the most interesting part of this text.